What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going over my top 5 modifications, top 5 cheap modifications to your 6.0 Powerstroke. I don't know how well this is coming up. I want to be outside. I like using the truck as a backstop, but it is raining out. Now, sorry, we do have a little bit of a mess cleaning up from Christmas still, but anyway, guys, we're going to get going. So the top 5 modifications, in no particular order, these are cheap mods. The goal is less than $300 per modification. And the one thing to say is the last modification is the one that actually will provide the most reliability and is also probably the cheapest on our list. Starting off, the first modification to our 6.0 Powerstroke is, of course, cold air intake. It is probably the single most popular modification anyone does to a vehicle. It's one of the first things typically people do is they get a cold air intake. Now, some of you may be thinking that that's not exactly a cheap modification, as there are several intakes that go over $300, but a lot are under $300. For instance, the S&B cold air intake, one of my personal favorite choices, is a $300 intake. Now, if you want to keep this on the cheap and get the cheapest, highest quality intake you can, what you could do is you can go on eBay and you can buy a cold air intake tube. Very, very cheap, about $70 for an unbranded one. Now, the filter that comes with that, you need to just throw away. Go spend another $55 or so with S&B or AFE. Those are the two intake filter kits I do recommend. Well, the filters specifically. Buy one of their universal filters and put that on there, and all of a sudden you have a good budget-friendly intake kit. You have a metal tube, and then you have a high-quality filter feeding air to your turbo. The next cheap modification for the truck is the 08 through 15 style tow mirrors. These can be had for about $160. Yes, there are companies that sell them for much more than that, but it is pretty easy to find them on Amazon or eBay, plug and play friendly, for about $160. Also, everyone, as I list the modification, if I have a video installing it, I will post it in the upper right corner. Well, your right, my left, it should be up here. But yeah, so if there's a video associated with the upgrade, I will make sure to put it in there in case you have any further questions. Please watch the rest of this video and then go back and find the video that you need. Now, next on the list, and probably the best sound addition to a vehicle, is of course an exhaust system, especially on a diesel. Now, many of you right now may be thinking how expensive a lot of exhaust systems are, but there's also a lot of great budget-friendly kits out there. For instance, Diamond Eye Performance offers a 4-inch turbo back. Now, it is an aluminum, it's not the stainless steel, but a turbo back 4-inch exhaust with a muffler. Now, it is a very unrestricted muffler. It's a straight through design like many diesel mufflers on the market, and it's what I actually recommend for $260 on eBay. It's very simple to find. I just yesterday before filming this video checked this out to make sure it was in fact still available at that price. If you want just a straight piped exhaust, you can have them for about $236, so even cheaper still. And just as a small addition to that, you can get an exhaust tip for pretty cheap, about $35 online, and it'll do the trick just fine. And again, we do have an install video of Josh and me installing that on his truck, so I will again link that video for you guys to use as a resource. And now probably the modification that you guys will have the most fun with is of course a programmer. So a lot of people, before you get all bent out of shape, because programs are $400 or $500 depending on where you go, the best tuner for the 6-liter Powerstroke is an SCT tuner. Now across all their models, they actually, for the 6-liter Powerstroke, actually do the same thing. So if you're on a budget and you want to make power, go onto eBay and look for a unmarried used SCT programmer. Now the X3s tend to be the cheapest, though I have seen X4s go for about $250 to $300, so right on that threshold, but you can get an X3 all day long used, unmarried, for less than $150. I have now purchased 3 of them at that price. Now, there is also a company that sells them used but refurbished. You know they're working, and he sells them for, I believe, $275, still under the threshold, and you get a programmer. Now, if you get one of the ones for about $150, for $60 to $150, you can get 1 to 3 tunes, custom tunes for your truck, and they are well worth the investment. That being said, the canned tunes that come on many of those programmers are just fine, and you will enjoy them very much. Now, I said we were saving the best mod for last, and what I mean by best is that it will give you a reliability aspect. It'll also give you a performance aspect depending on current quality of this part we're replacing. The part we are replacing is called the blue spring mod, and what this does is this will increase your fuel pressure from a failing spring, which can drop below 45, which is our threshold for damage to the injectors. Less pressure than 45 psi and the injector starts to not fill up completely, which can cause damage to the plunger, and I believe there's a few other parts as well. So performance-wise, why I consider this a performance mod is because what happens is when you bring your fuel pressure back up to where it's supposed to be, like 50 to 55, some springs will, depending on health of your fuel pump, bump you up to 60, which is perfectly fine. But when you bring it back up to where it's supposed to be, obviously now you're able to deliver the fuel that the computer is commanding, thus increasing your performance. It's typically not a huge gain, but there is a gain if you have low fuel pressure. Now, why I classify this also as a reliability issue is because some of you probably piece this together. Damage occurs at less than 45 psi fuel pressure. By bringing it where it's supposed to be, it'll help save your injectors and keep them living a long, healthy life. Now, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and drop your comments down below. What is your top 5 cheap modifications for your 6-liter Powerstroke? That's my list. If you guys like this style video, I will do more performance based and then another one for cosmetics if you guys are interested. So please drop those comments down below. Let me know what you think, guys. I will see you in the next upload.